She sits in the courtroom, eyes wide and unblinking, whispering desperate prayers under her breath, as if heaven, angels, God, anyone at all, could pull her out of what's about to hit her. Her lawyers had built what looked like the perfect shield. A traumatized war refugee. A child shaped by bombings, separation, and fear. Someone too young, too damaged, too broken to understand her own actions. And for a moment, it worked. The judge leaned in. The courtroom softened. Until the prosecution dropped the autopsy photos. The confession recordings. The timeline showing she was alone with her grandmother for hours. Everything fell apart in seconds. What you're about to see is the exact moment Sofia Koval's trauma defense slammed into the brutal truth of what she did to her 80-year-old grandmother. The moment she realized that fleeing Ukraine couldn't erase what happened inside that Lauderdale Lakes apartment. This is the chilling case of the teenage immigrant who beat her elderly grandmother to death, a case reconstructed entirely from court records, sworn statements, and police reports. If you've never heard this story before, brace yourself. Because what happened in Florida on May 23, 2024, will challenge everything you think you know about trauma, adolescent rage, and how a confiscated phone can light the fuse on deadly violence. Investigators noticed something about Sofia immediately after the attack, something that shattered her entire defense. A little after midnight, on May 23, 2024, Vladimir Koval unlocked his Lauderdale Lakes apartment after visiting a friend. His mother was babysitting his daughter. Instead, he walked straight into a nightmare. His mother, Sofia Koval, was lying motionless on the living room floor. Blood pooled under her gray hair. Her face was bruised beyond recognition. Fragments of her walker were scattered everywhere. A leather belt lay twisted beside her, the buckle smeared with blood. Sofia was inside the bedroom, making strange, muffled sounds, not screaming, not panicking, just noise. Vladimir's brain couldn't process it. 3 generations had lived in that apartment peacefully. His mother had survived World War II, survived cancer, survived war in Ukraine. And now she was dead. When he asked Sofia what happened, she replied instantly. "Grandma attacked me. I defended myself." This would become a key detail, because investigators quickly realized nothing about the scene matched self-defense. Vladimir called 911 at 12:26 a.m. Paramedics rushed Sofia to the hospital, but she was pronounced dead on arrival. Under Florida law, Sofia was placed under a 72-hour psychiatric hold, the Baker Act. After evaluation, deputies arrested her for murder. And what they observed disturbed them even more. Sofia showed no emotion. No shock. No tears. Just a distant, blank stare. One deputy wrote. Subject appeared disconnected from reality. The medical examiner's findings were devastating. Severe blunt force trauma to the skull. Deep bruising on the arms. Ligature marks on the neck. Impact wounds from a belt and a walker. Clear defensive injuries. This wasn't panic. This wasn't self-defense. This was a sustained, deliberate assault. Detectives pieced together the timeline. Earlier that day, Vladimir had confiscated Sofia's phone, her only outlet, her escape, her connection to her mother overseas. She was furious. He left around 8 p.m., leaving Sofia and Sofia alone. He returned shortly after midnight. The apartment was still locked from the inside. Nothing was stolen. No intruder. Sofia eventually confessed, but her story kept shifting. First, self-defense. Then, her grandmother was already dying. Then, she only helped her. That phrase, helped her, haunted detectives. To understand Sofia, investigators dug into generations of trauma. Sofia story. Born in Nazi-occupied France, 1944. Raised under Soviet rule in Ukraine. Lived through Stalinist repression. Became a respected teacher. Battled cancer. Moved to the U.S. for peace. Sofia's story. Born, 2010, Ukraine. Normal childhood. Then the 2022 Russian invasion shattered everything. Fled with her mother. Reunited with her father in the U.S. Moved to Florida. But trauma doesn't stay behind with the bombs. Sofia struggled with school, language, friendships, everything. She withdrew. She grew angry. Her phone became her lifeline. And when it was taken, something snapped. Based on physical evidence and the autopsy, Sofia struck her grandmother with a belt. Yevgenia tried to defend herself, her bruised arms proved it. Then Sofia grabbed the walker and beat her. When Yevgenia fell, Sofia wrapped the belt around her neck and strangled her. Then she sat beside her dying grandmother. For 4 hours. Waiting for her father to walk in. Calm. Quiet. Unbothered. This destroyed any claim of a sudden emotional outburst. By September 2024, Sofia stood in court facing first-degree murder charges. The prosecution pushed for adult sentencing, life in prison. The defense countered with psychological reports, PTSD, or trauma, childhood instability. But the prosecution brought their own expert, who found Sofia knew her actions were wrong. She knew the belt and walker were weapons. She knew not calling 911 would let her grandmother die. And she changed her story to avoid blame. That last point, changing stories, crushed her defense. Finally, the judge ruled. Sofia would be tried as a juvenile. But the victory was thin. Her sentence. Up to 3 years in a maximum-risk juvenile facility. Mandatory psychiatric treatment. Supervision until age 21. And if she fails treatment or shows violent behavior, the state can retry her as an adult. Her case remains open. Her future is hanging by a thread. Sofia is currently held in a Florida juvenile detention facility. Her release depends 100% on psychiatric evaluations. One slip, one violent incident, one failed evaluation, and she'll be sent to adult court, where the full murder charges will return. The belt. The walker. The autopsy photos. All of it waits, ready to be used again. And now, Florida debates the question. Does a 14-year-old war refugee deserve a second chance? Or adult consequences for an unforgiving crime?